both of your thoughts, because we are talking about this red hot market, right? I mean, there have been a number of articles in the last 2 weeks, I would say, that I was reading as far as this is the most, or it's the highest percentage that we've seen young Canadians becoming first-time home buyers during the pandemic. And so what is your take on the housing market, specifically in the GTA, but let's also look broader? I mean, because the idea of now COVID-19 made a lot of people realize, especially with working from home, that they don't have to live in the core, right? And so you're seeing a lot of people leaving the sky-high apartments and condos, and they're going far out for a little more piece of land, right? As opposed to location. So what would be your recommendation as far as location, the market in the core versus looking further out to the likes of Barrie, Hamilton, even far out past, far east past Oshawa? Just your take on the whole suburban versus downtown.
Well, I mean, since the beginning of COVID, that's kind of what the trend we were seeing, is that people were moving out of the core because, they wanted more space. They didn't want the high density areas where there's a lot of traffic, a lot of crossing paths of other people. So everybody was trying to go out because that's where the land was. That's where you get the big backyards, and that's where you get your home offices, right? But kind of since COVID happened, everybody started to do that. So that's why the outskirts of the GTA were super red hot. For example, I was working with a client out in Durham region, Whitby, even out as far as Oshawa, Ajax, and we're up against 40 offers, 35 offers at a time. So it was getting very frustrating for buyers, to have to go up against 40 offers, right? But I mean, now slowly that we're seeing vaccinations come and the city's starting to open up a little bit, and we kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel, people are kind of slowly coming back into the city, right? So we are starting to see now the condo market, even in the downtown core, they're starting to pick back up again. Before, there was a quote-unquote discount on condos, in early 2020 to mid-2020. We weren't seeing agent strategies listing low, taking offers. That wasn't really a thing in mid-2020. But now we are seeing that, more often, where there's offer dates on condos. So with that being said, it's kind of that's a telltale sign that the condo market is starting to rebound and pick back up, because they're starting to yield the same sale prices that they were getting pre-2020, I guess you can say.
I have a follow-up question for you. So I know that the multiple offer situation has been extremely annoying for a lot of clients, right? And disappointing for people that can't get into the market. So now that you're saying that you see the downtown core starting to kind of pick up again, does that mean that perhaps the house market might slow down on the outskirts? Are we going to see that slow down, or no signs?
I mean, I think it's going to slow down. So maybe instead of 40 offers on the table, there may only be 12 offers on the table, or 15 offers on the table.
Crazy.
So still a competitive market. It's still a hyper seller's market, but it's not what we were seeing early to mid last year, right? Mm-hmm. And I mean, me and Jerome, we work together quite often on deals, and one thing that buyers may not realize is in a crazy hyper seller's market where you're up against 40 offers, 30 offers, you're pretty much overpaying for a property at that point, right? If you want to win the property, you pretty much are overpaying for this property. And buyers don't really understand that if the appraisal doesn't come in at the value that they pay for the property, then they may have to come up with that shortfall. So for example, if you purchase a place for $900,000, but the appraisal only comes in at $800,000, because that's kind of what the market statistics show, that's what the house is worth, the buyer's going to have to come up with that $100,000 shortfall. So that's something that, Jerome often has.
You're scaring them, Justin.
No, but they have
Sorry,
to,
guys.
But they have to understand. That is really something to consider. Yeah, because not a lot of people have especially first-time home buyers, they don't have an additional $50,000, $70,000 to make up a shortfall, right?
Yeah.
So
Sure.
Oftentimes, Jerome does a very good job with explaining this to clients and making sure they understand that concept, because if you don't understand that concept, you could be in hot water once closing happens and financing has to actually be put in place, right?
Yeah.